All right, you guys, what is going on? Happy Saturday. I got a haircut, as you can see. Today we were talking about getting rich and really the mindset that kind of helped me get rich. I'm not rich, but like get things going on. You know what I mean? Get a business working, get opportunity, get from that 0 to 1. And it's where a lot of people get stuck, or they get from 0 to 1, and then they still didn't make the mindset shift to like shoot for the stars. Like they're not on a trajectory to continue on. And that's where you see a lot of like I think mom and pop businesses or people who like think they're entrepreneurs. Uh, they just have a business or like just a freelancer, and they're like, oh, I'm an entrepreneur, and it's like sort of, but the mindset shift to really be on a trajectory where you want to make just crazy money. You want to build insane dreams. You've got these all these ideas. That takes a different mindset, and I think the sooner you realize that, the better. So I just want to share a little bit about how that helped me, I think, unlock some pretty insane growth from a business point of view. Hopefully from a personal point of view as well. That's like always hard to gauge, but I know my mindset has just changed so much over the past like 2-3 years. So I want to share some of that. So when I was listening to content about freelancing, I had not really gotten any momentum. I'd made money with some side hustles. I used to build and sell tiki bars. I used to flip stuff on eBay, on Marketplace. I had like a few freelancing gigs, but it was I was kind of like scarcity mindset. Like always waiting for the next like gig to come through. And the transition out of that was really, it was ultimately Twitter. Actually, it was being on Twitter, and it was listening to podcasts and stuff where people just talked about spending. They talked about normalizing bigger numbers. They talked about, being the person who could make the money before you make the money. And it reminded me of a quote from Think and Grow Rich, which I didn't finish the book, but I think I picked this up like 4 years ago. And my mindset was so, even looking back, I can see my mindset was so limited at that point, because you want the secret. You're grasping for the tactic. You're like, what is he gonna what business is he gonna tell me to start in Think and Grow Rich? And it's like, no. But the quote from that book that stood out to me that kind of summarizes this was, money is made 2 times. It's made first in your head, and then it's made in the world, in reality. And I read that and I was like, what the heck? Like, you just think and stuff happens. And then I was thinking to myself, no, that's not how it goes. Like, that doesn't make sense. Because my mindset was so like deprived at that time, and I also didn't have any skill set, so you don't see the ways that can come into fruition. But it really is true. So when I was in that sort of scrappy phase and I was trying to figure this out, and people are talking about, at that time, 10K a month was like the number. I was like, when I make 10K a month, like, I've made it. That's like 6 figures. That's over 6 figures a year. That like replaces a job, because you're still thinking in job mentality, which is fine. Like, it's fine to have these measuring sticks and these numbers and to know like what you need to make. But that's where sometimes people are like, oh, I replaced my income. Like, now I'm set. Now I'm an entrepreneur, but they're still operating out of scarcity. And that's where I think you can actually end up going back down, or you plateau, because you haven't made the switch to abundance. Ultimately, what it is, it's abundance, and it's realizing that your ideas and your creativity open up these like vistas that can make you insane amounts of money, that can make you insane, build you insane businesses. And it sounds really weird, but it's really true. So what I started doing, and this is kind of maybe the practical side of this video, is I decided to totally eliminate a scarcity mindset. I started spending money that I had but sort of didn't have. Like, I had credit card debt, but I literally started going to the steakhouse for dinner, like, by myself. And like, I was starting to make some money with freelancing. It was right on the cusp of that. So it wasn't like totally, oh, I'm down bad and now I'm just going to spend money. You have to be doing the actions, and you have to be on a path of growth. But if you're doing both at the same time, if you're getting clients, or you're starting to make some sales, having an abundance mindset that there's more coming, and that you can behave as if you are someone who is expecting more, then more will show up. And it's very hard to explain this, but I see it now even more clearly sometimes when I look at other people evaluating, what they deem expensive. It could be a course or an event. That was another thing that I started to invest in, courses. Literally putting, I think I put Sam Ovens, one of the OG, he's now partnered with Hermosi on school.com, but I put it was $2,000 American, I think, and I put that on a credit card. I didn't even have a job at the time during COVID to invest in that, because I was like, I'm going to get, this is an investment in myself. And since then, I think I've spent, I think, over 150 grand easily on courses and consulting and events, and pouring money into these events. I went to an event which I recommend, called the Capitalism Conference. I've gone twice now. The first time I went to that event, I think it was like $3,000 American or something. I basically maxed out my credit card. I kept trying to buy the ticket. My credit card kept maxing out. And I hadn't even booked the flight yet. And so I'm like, maxing out my credit card. I go to that event. I hadn't launched my brand yet. The founder of Black Rifle Coffee was speaking there. I knew I had to be there. I knew I wanted to be there. I end up going there. I meet him. I get really inspired by his talk. And I meet this other kid who tells me I should be running Facebook ads, and tells me they still work and you should test some Facebook ads out for your brand. Long story short, we stay in touch. Shortly after that conference, I start launching Facebook ads. I start to get that to work, and then I end up scaling pretty fast with my brand. And all that kind of went back to that investment in, I didn't know what I was going to get out of that conference. I didn't specifically know it didn't make sense on paper. And if I had had someone who was budgeting, or even shared, I remember sharing some of the things I was spending on with some family members and friends even, and oh, that's a lot of money for a call, or that's a lot of money for an event. What? You're spending thousands of dollars for a couple days? And I just remember at that point in my head, I was like, it was so obvious to me to just pour it all, invest in yourself, because you are the investment. And when you put this money into yourself, you can 10x it. You need to totally blow the top of what these investments can return, because that's how real growth happens. It doesn't happen where you're like, wait, so if the event costs $700, will I make $700? What thing am I? It's so small-minded. You got to be no, I want to make $7 million. And then you're and if I learn one skill there, or make one connection that gets me on that path, then it's so worth it. And so this lesson is hard to impart when you're still in a mindset of oh, I shouldn't, I'm not going to buy the course, or you're penny pinching. You're going to stay stuck, and you're not going to make big money. You need to make the money in your head, then you can make it in reality. And you need to put yourself around people and in places and with information that can unlock more and more levels. Because if you're in that budgeting mentality, you're locking yourself down here. You're locking yourself in this small little realm of possibility, and you're saying no to the bigger picture. And so this is kind of a woo-woo one, but it's, if you're going to put in the work and build something, build a brand, or do the freelancing, blow the top off it with what you deem possible. I remember someone tweeting normalize 10K days. And I was that's insane. 10K in a day. I was going for the 10K month at that point. I'm that's wild. And then I saw people, and they're celebrating a 50K day, and I'm that's insane. That's crazy. And it's I have now done numbers that I would never, that are absurd to me. Now, it's not just all take home money because of the business I'm in. I reinvest it in the business, but I will tell you that it's insane how much this can unlock. You need to combine it with the actual skill sets and the actual work, but I challenge you to take a look at your mindset and see if you're being a brokey, see if you're having a scarcity mindset while you're trying to grow, because if you do, you're sabotaging yourself. And then take a look at, go for it. If someone's course excites you, invest in it. Friggin' hustle. Put the $1,500 down. This is another thing that goes along with this mindset is when you make this switch, suddenly you get more value out of things. You literally do. There's the saying that the people, it's not the course that makes it work. It's the person who takes the course, or the person who takes the coaching. The coaching works if you work. You work on it. And so when you step in with confidence, you're I'm going to get something out of this, and your attitude is that I'm going to get some little nugget out of this that's going to propel me forward, then it will. But when you're yeah, I bought one course and it didn't, it was kind of a scam, it didn't make me rich. It's oh, your mindset's so broken. So hopefully you got something out of this. Like, dream big, make the money in your head first, get around content that excites you, and like start having some dreams that actually excite you, and stop having a broke mindset, because it's just like, why why have that mindset? It's small, and it's not going to get you where you want to go. So guys, that's the vid. Please drop a like and a comment if maybe you had an experience where you've had a breakthrough or something, or an event that you went to. But happy Saturday. Peace.